I don't know if you've been feeling this too, but something about the way these races have been playing out lately just doesn't sit right. It feels like the intensity is there, the speed is there, but something deeper is missing. That edge, that raw driver control that used to make you lean forward on every single lap. And what's crazy is this is not just fans saying it anymore. There is something brewing inside the garage right now, a level of frustration that is starting to spill out, and not in a quiet way. We are talking about drivers seriously questioning the very foundation of how some of these races are being run, and even pushing for something that would have sounded unthinkable just a few years ago. This is not a small tweak. This is the kind of conversation that could completely reshape what NASCAR racing looks like going forward. So, if you care about where this sport is headed, you are going to want to hear this. And real quick, if you are new here, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We are just getting started with NASCAR Nation, and we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers with real fans who live and breathe this sport just like we do. Now, this is where things start to hit hard. What is blowing up inside the garage right now is a growing push from multiple drivers to seriously rethink and possibly completely eliminate the intermediate package used at tracks like Charlotte Motor Speedway, Kansas Speedway, and Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you have watched races at these tracks recently, you probably already feel where this is coming from. The core issue is the way these cars behave under the current rules. Drivers are basically saying the same thing in different ways. The car is too dependent on aerodynamics and not dependent enough on the driver. With this package, NASCAR leans heavily on high downforce and limited horsepower. On paper, that sounds like it should create tight racing cars close together and side-by-side action, and sometimes it does. But here is the trade-off nobody can ignore anymore. Clean air has become king. If you are out front, your car is stable. It is planted. You can run your line, manage your pace, and control the race. But the moment you drop into traffic, everything changes. That dirty air coming off the cars ahead completely disrupts the balance. Suddenly, you are not driving the track. You are fighting the air. The front end loses grip, the car gets tight, and you are stuck searching for stability instead of speed. That is where drivers are getting fed up. One of the biggest complaints is that the car operates in a very narrow window. You are not experimenting with lines. You are not working the throttle the way drivers used to. You are just trying to keep the car stable in turbulent air. Think about HAT. This sport was built on drivers managing tire wear, controlling throttle input, and finding speed in different lines over a long run. Now, drivers are saying there is less throttle modulation. Tire wear does not matter as much, and passing depends more on airflow than driver skill. That is a massive shift. And to be fair, NASCAR did not end up here by accident. There was a purpose behind this package. They wanted tighter racing packs. They wanted cars to stay closer together at high speeds, and they wanted to control speeds for safety, especially at fast 1.5-mile tracks. From a safety and consistency standpoint, it makes sense. But from a pure racing standpoint, drivers feel like it has gone too far. Instead of rewarding the best driver, the system can reward whoever controls track position first. That is not sitting well inside the garage. Now, we are at a point where the conversation is not just about small adjustments. Drivers are talking about real change. There are serious discussions about eliminating the intermediate package entirely, increasing horsepower across more tracks, and reducing aerodynamic dependence to bring control back to the drivers. The goal is simple: make the cars harder to drive again. NASCAR has already shown signs that they are listening. They have been adjusting horsepower at certain tracks and reclassifying others away from the traditional intermediate setup. But the core tracks are still using this system. And that is why this debate is not going away, because NASCAR has to balance safety, entertainment, and competitive fairness. Drivers are asking for something simpler. They want a car that challenges them. And as fans, you can feel that tension. Yes, we want close racing, but we also want to see drivers earn it. We want tire strategy to matter. We want mistakes to matter. We want drivers searching for grip and taking risks. That is what made this sport special. So now the big question is, what happens next? Does NASCAR keep making small changes, or do they take a bigger step and reset things completely? Because if they actually eliminate this package, we could be looking at a completely different style of racing in the near future, and that could define the next era of NASCAR. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think they should scrap the intermediate package completely, or just adjust it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And honestly, my take on all of this is pretty simple. I think the drivers are right to push back this hard. When you watch races at places like Charlotte Motor Speedway or Kansas Speedway, you can literally see how much the race depends on track position instead of pure driving ability. The leader gets clean air and just controls everything, and the guys behind are stuck fighting the car instead of racing each other. That is not what made NASCAR what it is. For me, the biggest problem is not even the lack of passing, it is the lack of struggle. It used to feel like drivers were constantly managing something. Tires, throttle, lines, balance over a long run. Now it feels like once the car is in the right window, everything becomes too predictable. And I get why NASCAR built it this way. Safety matters. Keeping the field tight matters for entertainment. But if the price of that is taking control away from the driver, then yeah, something has to change. Do I think they should completely eliminate the intermediate package? Honestly, I would not be against it. I think increasing horsepower and reducing downforce would instantly bring back that feeling of drivers having to work for it. You would see more mistakes, more variation, and more moments where talent actually makes the difference. At the same time, I do not think NASCAR is going to flip the switch overnight. They will probably keep adjusting things little by little. But if this pressure from the drivers keeps growing and fans keep feeling the same way, eventually they are going to have to make a bigger move. Because at the end of the day, this sport is at its best when the driver is the biggest variable on the track. And right now, a lot of drivers feel like that is not the case anymore. And if you are into real NASCAR conversations like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to NASCAR Nation. We are a new channel trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and we are building this with real NASCAR fans. I will catch you in the next one. What comes next could change everything. Drivers are pushing hard to move away from the current intermediate package at tracks like Charlotte Motor Speedway, Kansas Speedway, and Las Vegas Motor Speedway, calling for more horsepower, less aerodynamic. And honestly, as fans, that makes this moment one of the most exciting turning points we have seen in a long time. And that is exactly why you can feel the tension building right now. Because this is not just about one package or a few races. This is about the identity of NASCAR going forward. If NASCAR leans into these changes, we could see a return to races where drivers are constantly working the wheel, managing tires, searching for different lines, and actually creating passes instead of waiting for clean air. If they do not, this conversation is only going to get louder inside the garage. Either way, something is coming. And as fans, we are right in the middle of it. And the truth is, moments like this do not come around often. This is how eras change in NASCAR. Not overnight, but through pressure, through voices inside the garage getting louder, and through fans demanding something that feels real again. You can already sense that this is building toward a decision point. Whether it happens this season or down the road, the direction is being shaped right now. So keep your eyes on this, because the next move NASCAR makes here is not just another rule tweak. It could redefine how we experience racing every single weekend.